Martial art has a very, very deep meaning as far as my life is concerned because as an actor, as a martial artist, as a human being, all these I have learned from martial art.
You know, when we first started talking about this show, it was ahead of its time, I think, when Bruce Lee was typing it up and coming up with the idea. But it felt like we kind of brought that to life exactly as written. We're not doing it justice because so much time has lapsed and the medium has also evolved. We felt like it was important to build this world. It takes place in 1800s San Francisco. At the same time, it's very contemporary.
We really wanted to create three very specific worlds. We wanted the world of Chinatown, which is our primary world. We also wanted the world of the working class Irish to see how they're living and how they're sparring with the Chinese. And then we wanted the aristocrats and the politicians because it was really important to me to convey how the decisions were happening really at the top of the government chain that were affecting the laborers in Chinatown.
The San Francisco of our show is a seething cauldron of intolerance and tension.
Chinese labor is just flowing in rapidly. A lot of the Irishmen who have been the workers of the area are being pushed out for Chinese laborers who would work for pennies. But what happened was Chinatown kind of grew and became its own world.
San Francisco is sort of a microcosm for the United States at this point. It's sort of a powder keg moment and a tipping point in racial relations for the Chinese community. As we start to climb towards the legislation in 1882, the Chinese Exclusion Act.
Many people have never even heard of the Chinese Exclusion Act. It's a period of history that's been glossed over, and it was a very harsh immigration policy that targeted one race of people. Chinese people could not own property. Chinatowns, a lot of them became sort of the boundaries within which they were allowed to be.
I think back to when I was in high school and, you take history class, U.S. history class, and there's literally, a 4-sentence paragraph about the Chinese-American experience. And they helped build our country. And for me personally, I think it was important to be able to tell a story of a character that's going through that journey, that American immigrant story we can all relate to.
We wanted to take this time in history and take the racism and take the immigrant experience, but move it into, a more elaborate and heightened world, a world where we could also have fun and generate a level of pulp and action.
My father did that in his films. He had amazing, entertaining action, he had humor, and then you also got to sprinkle in some of the philosophy, some of the seriousness, some of the deeper messages. And this show is exactly the same. It's very Bruce Lee.
As long as the script justifies it. But I definitely do not agree to put something in there just for the heck of it because it is an exploitation.
When I set out making the show, because Shannon's involved and I knew that the fans of Bruce Lee were going to scrutinize this, I wanted to give them a lot to sort of grab onto. There are moments where I slip in some of his famous phrases into the dialogue. There's other times where certain fight moves we steal right out of Bruce Lee movies, and it's all done really to pay respect to the master.
It was really, how do we pay homage to Bruce Lee and at the same time create our own show?
Bruce Lee had this idea that our warrior, Assam, would form some kind of relationship with a cop named Big Bill. So I definitely wanted to take that name and take that idea that Bruce had and build on it.
The character of Assam was a character who came from China and came over to America, searching for someone. And then Big Bill was sort of his adversary/friend who sometimes was described as a drunk, sometimes as just sort of a loud Irishman. But those two characters really stood out on the page.
In this world, Assam is like the draft version of Bruce Lee.
We really wanted to get away from the tropes of the 70s and 80s Hong Kong action movies where the martial arts hero is this sort of pure soul on a quest. We took Assam and we wanted to make him really human with flaws, and he's very reckless, he's impulsive, he doesn't always think things through, and he's very much the antithesis of what Bruce Lee would have been. The goal was not to make Assam a clone of Bruce Lee. So what we do instead is we find ways of inserting some of the Bruce Lee philosophy into all of our characters.
If you can move with your tool from any angle, then you can adapt to whatever the object is in front of you.
When people see the show, I think they're going to be surprised. There's a lot of preconceived notions when people hear Bruce Lee, they hear martial arts. Of course, there's great action, but I think they're going to be surprised how emotionally involved they're going to be. And we have the ability to be able to take the audience into different points of view. These are compelling characters, not just Assam, not just Big Bill, but when you watch the show, you're going to see that we care about every frame, every second of this story.
We honored Bruce Lee's legacy and what his real hope for the show was.
I hope that the picture I am in would either explain why the violence was done, whether right or wrong or whatnot.